I can just do a quick intro.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
I'm Einar Hust. I'm a filmmaker, actor. I wanted to make movies since I was 10. I started making videos when I was 10. I was one of the first YouTubers, not only in Estonia but in the world. Like I started making videos on YouTube when YouTube was like it was like this amateur like site, YouTube.com. You went there and it looked like shit. It looked like it was way before Google bought it. It looked like it was the time when MySpace was big. Everybody was in MySpace.
Okay.
When this YouTube thing popped up, and it was just like people sharing their videos.
Yeah.
It took forever to upload a video. I think you only could upload a
You started
certain
that
amount.
early?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Sketches? Or?
It was just me like doing stupid shit. Just like filming myself doing faces and stuff. And I uploaded. It was like really early, and yeah, it was just like everybody had a profile. It was kind of like a social. They didn't know what they were doing, where this site would go. And it was kind of like a social media, kind of like a Twitter.
People recording
kind
their
of,
live and
just they put their clips up there. It was like, oh, I'm this guy. I'm 28 years, whatever, old. I'm from, Austin, Texas, whatever. I have these home videos up here, and people could find you, like your videos and comment.
Yeah.
That was it. And I started then, and it never got me anywhere. No. Then I found this actor, this comedian called Tom Green. Some people might know him. This whole Hollywood comedian actor, and he had a website where he was doing videos and a blog, and he did a live show online. And I started making videos on his website, and he was like the only guy in Hollywood who was like communicating with his fans and who built this social media platform on his website where he could communicate with his fans, and he did a live show. I think his show was the first kind of like a live show online, like a podcast kind of thing. And people who made videos on his website, they were called deputies. And I was one of those deputies who's making
also
videos.
on YouTube?
I mean, he had his own video platform, like you could upload to his site, but you could also upload on YouTube and like embed it on his site. And you could talk to him, and he watched your videos. He showed him on his live show, and he did it all from his house in LA. And I did that. I made videos on his site, and that's how I met him online. And we still sometimes tweet. Like I tweet to him like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Hey, But I went to LA a few years ago, and I was like, "Hey, Tom, let's meet up. We've known each other online for like fucking 15 years. Let's meet up." It's like. He started ignoring me. He's like, no, I'm like, he's like, I don't know, he's weird. Like these big Hollywood stars, like even like he's not a star anymore, but he used to be. And he's still like kind of weird, like he doesn't feel comfortable meeting people. Like nowadays, everybody who's doing the social media stuff, like we don't care. Like this generation, like we just meet up, we just make videos and stuff. It's a lot easier to meet up. But these older generations, like. Who've been, doing this, in the past where social media didn't exist, they're kind of creeped out by all this.
Probably.
Like it's getting too open, Because,
Probably doesn't help.
Yeah. But then, like I made videos, and then eventually I figured I want to make movies, and I failed school because I was making videos all day when I was in school. When I was in high school, I dropped out, and that kind of it destroyed my potential career as a filmmaker and actor, because in Estonia everything's about film school or theater. So if you don't go to film school or theater, you can't be an actor or filmmaker and not go to school in Estonia. So I fucked myself there.
And after fucking yourself, now you're fucking yourself again in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this London trip was one of the smartest things I've ever done. But now it's like, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Maybe it needs more time, but I've been trying to fucking become somebody for so long that I'm tired. Like I'm 30 soon. It's like I've been trying to make movies and be an actor since I was 10.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I don't have any more energy.
I'm gonna ask about the going back to the forest.
I'm thinking about it. I'm
Like-
thinking about because I'm writing a movie right now. Right, my first feature film, and I've been trying to write my movie for like I don't know 5 years or something. Different idea, different concepts, different things that I want.
You
to write.
wrote The Most Beautiful Day
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
right?
Wrote, directed, produced, edited, played lead role, everything.
So how come this is the first feature film?
Because the most beautiful day is short film.
Okay. Gotcha. How long was that?
Half an hour. So the first feature film, yeah. I'm
This will be a
writing it.
full length.
Yeah,
kind of,
like
theater friendly.
an hour and a half or 2 hours. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking of disappearing because if I would go to my uncle's place, it would be really cheap to live there, and I could just make videos on Steam it on YouTube and just write my movie and just forget about everything else. Forget about the hustle, and just focus on writing and being in nature.
Are you hustling right now?
I was. Now I got tired. I don't want to do it anymore.
What
I mean, I just wish that I would at least get a role in a soap opera or something. That would make me it would motivate me to start hustling again.
I mean, when you talk about the typecasting,
Yeah.
do you mind that? Like you said.
No, I don't. But it's like they make it seem like
You
this
said
is
you're so sick of it. Like,
I'm sick of like before even look.
I mean,
thing
a lot
is,
of big star also.
dude, I can't be sick of it if I haven't even
right?
played in anything here yet.
Yeah.
I can't be sick of it. But what I'm sick of is there's this pattern. There's this pattern all the time that I see, that I've seen for years now, in Estonia too. The reason I left Estonia was because it was hard for me to get movie roles, and now when I came here, I had this idea that it would be easier, because there's more work.
Yeah, sure.
But now there's other problems. There's this, feeling like there's so many people who are talented, who are hustling, that you're just another one. I used to think I'm special, I'm really talented and special, I can do whatever, I can get for as long as I have courage, and I just go to London and start hustling, I can get work as an actor, no problem. I thought it was Estonia, that Estonia is the problem, but now I'm beginning to think that it's not. It's much bigger than that.
Back in the days when you were still on YouTube, that was, I think, the first video I ever watched. Because I only searched Estonia, right? And the same.
That's how I popped up.
Yeah,
Estonia.
I only searched Estonia or Estonian, and the first thing that popped up on the first page, probably there was a video of you speaking Estonian to people in LA.
Speaking Estonian to strangers.
Yeah, and I remember the what was that called? Like the picture that shows.
The thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Was you doing this to a Hooter girl
Yeah.
in a restaurant, and it got close to a million
Good
views.
clickbait.
Yeah,
It was 400,000,
back then.
300,000. No, right now it's 200,000-300,000.
Yeah, it was a lot of views back
Yeah.
then, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool." And he's doing insane.
Yeah.
And back then, the prank thing was really, really popular. A few
Yeah,
years
yeah,
back, everybody was doing pranks,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is entertaining." And I guess beyond entertaining is I was watching this with my girlfriend.
Are you still together?
Yeah, I was watching this one with my girlfriend, and it's doesn't look Estonian. No Estonians do this kind of shit.
Yeah, no Estonian does
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
This is
That's when I started YouTube. I was the only guy in Estonia who did that shit.
Yeah.
That's how I started on YouTube. I was doing shit on the streets. I was doing pranks and stuff. I was doing stupid shit. And no, that's true. No, Estonians aren't that bold.
I mean, before that, I wasn't even. I didn't know what to expect from Estonians, but she was telling me, if you go to Tallinn, nobody would, come up to you and talk to you and be, just.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nobody would do that.
No.
And that theory got confirmed later on.
Yeah. Because I grew up in Sweden. That's
Okay.
probably why. That's probably why I'm half crazy. Because Swedish people are a little nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. I don't know what to say about that. Swedish people are not crazy.
No, I love Swedish people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in a good way, not in a good way. Like, Swedish people are more. That's their. Like, that's more the Swedish kind of comedy. You know, like pervy kind of like this weird comedy.
I think that's fun. My girlfriend speaks Swedish. So.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Why?
it's going to Sweden this year.
Did you just learn Swedish?
Yeah.
I'm going to Sweden. I'm going to learn the language.
Yeah.
What? Is she a genius?
No,
The fuck?
I think he went to one high school in Estonia that teach them Swedish.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot Swedish. I'm the other way around. I just forgot. I used to speak fluent Swedish. I used to be like a Swede. I
Okay.
just forgot the language.
But how come you never considered like going to Sweden? I mean,
Because I did.
that would
I
be
did. I
also
did.
be
But I found out that you need the language to do anything there. So
it wouldn't be hard for you to pick it up if you used to speak it.
yeah,
that's what I
it
assume.
would take like a month, a few months maybe,
Yeah.
even just a few months to pick it up again. But the thing is, that needs money to settle in and to even
sure.
do that. But I'm struggling, and I'm trying even here, like I took a loan to go here to try to make it, and it's now like I want to go back and disappear into a forest. So
Are you not doing any other work except for like casting and trying to get a role here?
no, I'm doing what's that?
No one. Still
Okay, sure. I'm doing self tapes for a friend of mine who's an actor.
Yeah.
He has a company. He does self tapes for actors, and I'm actually going to go to a self tape after this. So I help him film and edit self tapes for actors, for auditions.
So
and
you
stuff.
wouldn't consider anything else but
I would.
film-related stuff?
No, I would even I was thinking last
I mean,
night.
I don't think it would be hard for you to stay in London because you do speak the language. You have been here
Yeah.
for a few months. You're not illegal immigrant.
Definitely not.
You get it off a lot easier compared to people who are not from the EU.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, if you really want to stay and maybe take longer time to grind it out to do something film-related, but you still get to stay though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't think it would be
there's two
financial.
things I'm doing. It's the self tapes, and then I'm doing this trailer for my friend's book. And my friend that I met in London too. I met quite a lot of people in 3 months. He's writing he just finished a book, and I'm making a trailer for him. But it's all like they don't really make me money. It's like just trailers for my friend, and the self tapes is also me helping a friend, and they don't pay much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you only consider doing something that is, video production related stuff?
No, I would be I was thinking last night that I would be happy right now being a janitor somewhere, writing my movie.
Yeah, I mean, is it gotta be hard?
No, I mean
Because I was like just walking down the street these
Right.
days, and a lot of places are, they're.
I guess
looking for
I'm in this spot right now. I'm just in this.
Do you
like-
like it here? Like,
I do, but it's like I'm leaving on the 13th to Estonia just
Why?
because my birthday, and I have to go to my uncle's place. I have to help him out with a thing about land and legal shit. Because at my countryside, I own land.
You.
I mean, it's a shared land. So like my uncle's trying to do something like he built an electrical plant, a solar power plant. Now he needs my signature to like do something
Because
on that
you're
land.
a homeowner.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta go back to Estonia on the 13th, and I'm planning to come back on the 24th. But the thing is, I can't even pay my rent right now at my place
Why do you look at the camera when you say?
because I can't just look at you.
No.
You know, it's like
oh well, yeah, sure.
it's like we're on a show, Dun, 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 dun. So it's like I'm thinking like maybe I'm just gonna, if I'm not able to pay my fucking rent, I better just fucking go back to Estonia and try to figure it out,
Still, you're not answering the question, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of like trying. What's the question?
The question is, why are you not doing things that are not video related over here? Like, when you go back, you probably just gotta save up, and like you said, the expenses are gonna go down, right?
Yeah.
It's easier for you to make it there,
Because
but still,
I could do Steam and DTube there and write my movie, and
then you don't have much of a commitment to do other stuff.
yeah, I could just focus on writing my film. Because right now, I feel like everything else is distraction. Like I don't have time to write, just sit down and write, because it takes a lot of time to prepare and to get your mind there, to have that mindset to write. But if you have like self tapes, casting things. You have videos. You gotta make a video every day on Steam and DTube. You gotta do all this shit. Do the trailer for your friend and prepare for that. We're going to film next week, and you have all this stuff to worry about. It's like there's not much room for writing. So it's like I feel like I want to remove everything else and just focus on writing.
So you feel like if you have the opportunity to go back to the countryside, that would give you more freedom to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because I could just focus on writing and just be in nature and away from everything.
What is the story gonna be?
It's a secret. I can't talk about it. It's a secret. Every time I start writing something, a feature film, and every time I start talking about it, it's like it's being sucked away. Like someone sucks it in.
I feel you.
It's like it's gone. Like it feels like it's already done, or somebody just fucking took it. It's like it doesn't feel as exciting to write it anymore after I've told someone about it. So I decided that this one I'm not going to talk about it because I need that mystery. I need that mystery. I need the secret. I need for it to just be my own. Be my own.
Gotcha. Is it gotta be non-fiction or fiction?
Ish.
Okay.
It's a found footage style, like a documentary style film. It's like fiction, but well, depends. Depends on the viewer, because it's inspired from realish things. It's basically like inspired from conspiracy theories, but it's a found footage documentary style fictional film.
Well, I normally ask these two questions by the end of the interview, but I guess today it would be better off I just ask right now. Are you a conspiracy theorist?
I used to be. Yeah. I think everybody is a little bit. We all love a good conspiracy theory, I think. Don't you?
Do you think
conspiracy theory?
Do you think the Earth is flat?
I mean, do you think the Earth is flat? Do you think the Earth is a globe?
I'm not sure.
I think people are a little bit too arrogant to say things if they like. The thing about that is like no one has ever seen the Earth from that perspective. We've only seen videos and stuff. How much can you trust videos? I think it comes down to whether or not you're going to trust somebody else's words or video for it.
But I guess
I'm not saying that the Earth is flat, but I'm saying people are too arrogant to assume that they know everything about the reality when they haven't seen it from that perspective.
I think this question about the Earth is flat or not goes beyond like the actual argument itself. It's not like the flat earth want to persuade other people to believe the Earth is flat. Instead, they're kind of protesting against the common knowledge. There's a certain kind of resistance.
Yeah, there's always going to be resistance because people don't want to.
I feel like it's more of a political statement instead of like just being a sort of a belief. To you, like, do you feel like that's the case?
Political statement? No.
Yeah.
No, Trump tweeted that he believes the Earth is flat, so I don't know. But I think it's just like with every conspiracy theory.
For example, theory. My curiosity lies on what does it do to you if Earth is actually flat and everybody believes otherwise?
I think things like that sort of I think when people think, okay, you've heard about things like hoaxes, like shooting, these shootouts, like hoaxes. Like people believe that like Boston bombing or whatever, or a shootout was a hoax. Right?
Yeah.
So I think people don't believe that because of a political statement or whatever, or just because I want to be a rebel or whatever. I don't want to believe this. People believe those things because there's evidence to them. To them. I'm not saying that there's evidence, but to them that there's a conspiracy. That there's a different story. For some reason, people believe that there's a different story. I mean, you could argue that people even look into things like that because they're bored. They want to, they don't have anything better to do. Maybe that's true, but it's not like these people who believe those kinds of things are crazy, or they just do it for, being, like against the grain. I think it's because they find evidence to support that belief.
I think you know that most of the people will keep believing the Earth is round, regardless of the effort being made from the flat Earth.
I don't have anything against that.
Right?
People can believe whatever the fuck they want to. Like, it's no one's business, And I think people shouldn't put down people who have radical beliefs. As long as they're not hurting anybody, who cares? I think this, like, if someone gets really agitated because of someone else's belief, when that belief isn't hurting anybody, then that person who gets agitated, they should ask themselves why they get agitated in the first place. Why is it why is it a problem to them? Like, why do you even feel like you have to argue? I think that's my opinion.
In conclusion, are you a flat earther?
No.
Okay.
Are you?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Cool.
There was a video you made about you helping out in a martial arts center
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Have you done any kung fu or any
No. I was just checking because I regularly go back to your YouTube channel just to see what's going on.
Yeah, I've been doing Wing Chun. You know Wing Chun?
Yeah.
For 4 years.
I have been going back to your videos like regularly, like every 3 months. I go back and binge watch like all the new content that comes up.
Yeah.
Basically everything.
That's cool.
That kind of understand.
Thanks.
Yeah, like.
Did you notice the views? Like, there's like 100 people watching now. There used to be like 20,000. Like, that's like 100 or 50 people.
I feel like the view itself doesn't really matter to me that much. I wasn't really interested in that.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was like
it didn't matter to me because it's kind of depressing seeing
nobody watching it.
Yeah, like nobody caring.
But there was a time like you were doing something on the street, which was in Estonia. I couldn't really understand much. Where you were like talking to people, like kids around, like in Freedom Square, like those areas.
Like interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was quite recent. I think that was also there was a surge in views in those videos.
The interview videos, those were really old videos though. Like, those were like, that was because I started doing that's how I started doing YouTube videos. Was interviews and stuff.
And then when I saw the video of you helping out in the martial arts center, I was like, yo, this
filming
guy,
the tournaments. And
yeah,
stuff?
This guy must have had a mental crackdown. It just like it looks really that video looked really depressing to me. I don't know if that was
which one do you mean?
State of mind of you. Like it was in the summer and you were filming about
the summer camp.
Something like that.
Right.
Taking a lot of kids, and it was just like really quiet. A lot of footages coming together, kind of like a collage and mixing kind of stuff.
Did you see the tournament video? The Estonian Wing Chun tournament?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was really energetic, like more. Yeah, the camp video was very. My master called it gay. The music is way too. No, he called it not gay. He called it vegetarian.
And also the tournament one. Like I'm not saying the energy in there was depressing, but like it just felt like when the
tournament video. Come on, that's an epic video.
Yeah, when the visual says one thing and in the background I'm just like the guy who's behind the camera.
Oh, you were thinking about the guy who's behind the camera.
Yeah, because I mean like I'm not interested in the martial art or anything.
Really,
I'm not a part of that culture. So what I'm
Dude,
interested.
It's like your entire culture that's your entire culture, dude.
I'm going back to your channel. Like I'm like more interested in.
Why am I interested in your culture more than you are in your own culture?
Are you still interested?
Yeah, like kung fu is my life, man.
Okay. Are you doing that
like
right
I
now?
love Chinese culture. I love everything about it.
Are you still doing martial arts right now?
I mean, right now I've been on a hiatus because of my shoulder. Because I fucked up my shoulder in martial arts. Like I have a tendon, like a torn tendon.
Yeah.
It's completely torn. It's inflamed inside. I think I have to get like how do you call them? steroidal injection
That's
or some shit.
I had one on my lower back.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it help?
No, and I was stupid enough to believe that was gonna help me gain more muscle.
To gain more muscle. I thought you had you didn't have an injury. Right?
No, I had lower back injury, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna give you steroid." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, but that alone won't help.
That's a different kind of steroid. You know? There are two types of steroid. One is just helping the inflammation.
Yeah.
The other one is actually helping stimulate the muscle growth.
Oh, but I think you gotta work out too, right? You just I'm gonna gain some muscle. I'm gonna inject yourself, and then you just sit on your ass.
Yeah,
it's not how it works, man.
So, have you already got it?
No.
Okay.
I'm like going to physiotherapy like next week. And,
how do you get the shoulder fucked up?
I think from constant, motions, the same motion over and over and over again, and also pulling. Like there's these like pulling techniques. Like you grab an arm from underneath and you pull like this. There's constantly these pulling motions, and I think in a tournament or something, someone pulled on my arm, or in training and sparring, and like these constant pulling motions. I think they tore up my tendon, and I didn't know. So I kept training, and then eventually it started. I think it's like it was a gradual thing.
Where did you get the interest? Training
Since I was a kid, like when I guess when I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball is my favorite thing in the whole world. It's my favorite story. And when I was a kid, I was just that culture and that mentality and the brotherhood and everything about martial arts and fighting and martial artists. The life of a martial artist and the philosophy. Like, I've always loved that.
Do you have friends in real life?
You're my only friend. No, yeah, I do.
Why? No, I'm just curious because you look like a loner.
I am. I'm really lonely.
You don't look like
I'm so fucking lonely, dude.
You don't look like you have a lot of friends.
Do you?
I mean, I'm gonna be straightforward.
No, that's nice. That's good that you're honest. And I'm really lonely, man.
Because I think most of the time when I make videos, it's just a way to kind of seeking communication because I don't really know who get to hear my story and I want to kind of put things out there and elicit reactions so I get to kind of have a channel
so you're a
to
loner
let
too?
out stuff. I feel like
you have a girlfriend, so you can't be alone.
I don't really feel like I have much friends, but
I have like 2 friends. No, maybe 5. Real friends. Like it's real friends. They don't.
Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is like you say you like the brotherhood in martial arts and all that.
Yeah.
How come you don't have friends if you're drawn towards that? Is it because it's...
I mean...
Are you making an attempt to do that? Because some people enjoy being alone.
You know what? Like I feel I'm weird because I feel like my best friends are people who make movies.
Yeah.
Or actors. Like even here in London, like I met this guy, Fraser, right? And he's one of my best friends now. But we've only known each other for 3 months. And I have people in Estonia who I've known for like 7, 8, 10 years. And I would say that Fraser is even a better friend than most of those people. So that's because he's an actor. We're like-minded people. Like I feel like I need the like-minded people to be friends because they understand you.
Why do you want people to understand you?
Don't you? You don't want people to understand you?
No, I want it, but it's not like I don't want the process to be easy. When you say you have like-minded people, then there's no need for persuasion. There's no need for...
My life's hard as it is, man. Why do you want the process to be hard?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like it's hard enough to fucking make movies.
Yeah.
Friendship should come really easily. It should come like that.
I see what you mean.
It should be spontaneous and it should feel like you've known each other for all your life.
So that 5 friends of yours,
yeah.
How many of them are actually in the UK?
2.
So there's 3 back in Estonia, I assume.
Yeah, I guess that number is pretty. Yeah, this number is right. I think. Well, there's. I mean, what friends?
And almost 2.
I mean, there's more. I mean, What do you mean by that? Like, do you mean best friends, or do you mean like there's two kinds of friends? There's best friends,
Yeah, like
and then there's friends. Like, there was this girl I met in LA, this actress, and she once told me, like, on Facebook, like, I was trying to get back, get in contact with her and call her and stuff, because, you know, she's amazing, like, I love her. And she was like, I have 93 other friends who are trying to call me, like, I don't have time for friends, you know, like, she's trying to, like, make her own movies and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, she has 93 other friends she can't even talk, she doesn't have time to talk to. So do you mean that kinds of friends?
I mean, like real
Or
friends.
real friends? Yeah, I think every person has only one or two real friends. I think it's like that for every person, you know?
Is that 5 friends of yours are not real friends?
That was just a random number.
Yeah.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I have, because look, friends, okay? Everybody puts friends in categories,
yeah.
okay? You're a friend. There's one friend that I have that when we call each other back in Estonia, or when we meet, we know everything about each other, and we have the same kind of humor. And there's this there's this thing between us nobody else has. You know, we understand each other.
Yeah.
Because we're crazy. You know,
Yeah.
we're both comedians. But then there's other friends who, like, if they would see us, like, if we would meet, like, this one friend of me and another friend, they would be confused, like, what we're talking about, or what the fuck's going on, or, like, they wouldn't understand our jokes. You know, they wouldn't be on the same level, right? So there's different levels or different kinds of friendships, you know. And these friends in London, like Fraser, he's a good friend, but I can't fucking talk about everything with him. I can't tell him everything about him.
Yeah.
But he's still a good friend. And I had one of my best friends that I knew for 7 or even more, over 7 years. I lost him recently because he turned out to be a psychopath, a liar. You know, so there's those kinds of friends that you know for 10 years and then they turn out to be psychopaths.
Do you miss all those people in Estonia right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
So they won't become a reason for you to go back?
No, the reason to go back would be to disappear, like into a forest, and just be on my own and write my movie. I feel like I need to get away.
Like, it remind me of a lot of like kung fu masters and how they were born. You know, you go into like a jungle or somewhere in solitude, and a few years after that you come out. There's all the fucking awesome technique to kill.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. I want to go in there for like 3 months, write my movie, and come out with the finished script, with the finished first draft, and then get back into the hustle.
Are you gonna come back to the UK?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I need to get away. I need to get away to finish that project, to come back and start hustling again, I feel.
Previously you talked about you feel like you're a comedian.
Yeah, because that's how I started with the videos. I was a comedian. I was making comedy videos. You know, if I continued making those videos and continued to only focus on comedy before I started this acting thing and writing drama. If I was to continue on the path of these comedy videos in Estonia, I would probably would have ended up as like a stand-up comedian or something. That was the kind of route I was taking.
Do you want that?
I want to try stand-up, yeah, but right now I feel like this screenplay is the most important thing right now to finish. But I've always been a comedian. But just recently, I've kind of like buried that part of myself. Because it's like it's a mindset, you know. It's like a muscle you train. But I haven't been training that muscle recently because of the screenplay. Because I'm trying to write drama, trying to make. The Most Beautiful Day was very drama. That was drama,
Yeah,
right? That was very serious. So that was when I kind of left. Like I stopped this comedy thing.
Are you
doing
funny?
comedy videos. I used to be.
Are you still funny?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I used to make just comedy videos. So
you
everything used to be funny what I did, but then when I started making The Most Beautiful Day, I put this comedy muscle, in the corner, put it
Do you
aside.
think it can come back if you wanted to?
Yeah. But it's like I feel like I need to finish this feature film. But there's comedy in there too.
Have you done any stand-up?
I've thought of when I was in Estonia a couple of years ago in this comedy club thing, like in this bar. They do comedy stand-up, set events, and I was watching these Estonian comedians going up on stage, and these random people just like improv, just go up on stage. And I was watching them, and I was like, I can do that. What the fuck? Like, I can do it way better than that. Because I used to, that's all I used to do was improv and comedy with these videos and stuff. And going on the street, I used to go on the street and just make shit up and go. So I definitely have that bug and have that muscle. And I want to get back into that in the future. Not right now. I think.
You're 28.
Yeah. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm already late in starting.
You're never late.
I already feel like, like a lot of epic people out there.
You can't compare yourself to other people, dude.
Yeah, I understand. But, you just understand you're never gonna be as famous as Justin Bieber.
It's not about being famous.
Right? I know.
It's not about being Justin Bieber. If I
Right.
wanted to be Justin Bieber, I would have hair. I'd have a Justin Bieber haircut. But I don't want to be Justin Bieber. And it's not about being famous. Like this script that I want to finish. It's not about being famous. Or fucking, it's not about the means of the end, or how do you say it? It's not about I'm going to finish the script and then I'm going to
I understand you wanna
It's about
make movies, right?
It's about overcoming yourself. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
It's about you have this idea. You wanna achieve something.
You wanna realize it.
You wanna feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
You wanna prove to yourself that you're capable of creating something. It doesn't matter how many people are gonna see it, or of course that's good. But
more people can get to watch
yeah,
it,
but
right?
it's not about that. It starts from having a vision and you want to complete that vision for yourself. That's why I hated when I was making The Most Beautiful Day and a lot of these film students from BFM, Baltic Film. That's what I thought you were from, at first.
It's Tallinn University.
Yeah,
right now,
but it's
part of-
BFM is yeah. So a lot of these crew members and the producer, the first producer in The Most Beautiful Day, my short film, they kept telling me he kept trying to educate me the way that they educated him at school. He kept telling me so who are you making this movie for? Who are you making this? What's your audience? What's your audience? And I was like, no one, me. I'm making it for myself. He's like, no, that's wrong. No, you can't do that. But that's bullshit. Everybody does. Everybody creates for themselves initially. You have to be the first audience. You're the person you create for. Once you've finished that product, then you're gonna look for the audience. But when you're making the thing that you're making, it's for yourself. It's for no one else. That's a personal relationship between you and whatever you're creating. You're breathing life into something. So
Yeah,
nobody else
sure.
can have. It's you and this thing. So that's what I felt when I was making The Most Beautiful Day, and I felt really agitated every time he tried to put program that thought into me. Hey, no, you gotta find your audience. And
Did you get a lot of help when you were making that film?
yeah, a lot of people, a lot of film students, and I couldn't have done it without my assistant director, Karl-Jonathan Karits. This guy who came, because I never went to, why film school is good is because you learn the process of making the film.
Yeah.
You learn.
Is it different than making videos on YouTube.
Yeah. A lot of weight because I didn't know anything about making a movie. So the Carl then came in. He was the AD, assistant director, and he showed me. Like he kept the whole thing together. Like if he wasn't there, if he didn't help me making that short film, everything would have just fallen apart. Because he the AD. Do you know what an AD does? The assistant director. He's responsible for the schedule, responsible for the whole crew and the people that everything is working in his own schedule, and like it's like a logistics and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have that help, then the whole thing would have just fallen apart. So, but that was like film school for me. The most beautiful day. When I finished that.
How long did it take? The whole
2 years.
process?
2 years. So that whole project was like film school. When I finished that, I felt like, yeah, now I know how to make movies. Now I finished that. That was like my master's or whatever. So,
and then comes American Summer.
Yeah, that was.
I really think it was gotta be a huge breakthrough for you because it was like on the big screen.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It didn't bring any.
No. No, nothing. But the director of American Summer, he was the guy who paid for my sound for The Most Beautiful Day, for the sound production. That's how we met.
I'm just curious.
He's this rich guy. He's this entrepreneur who liked my film.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to help you finish it. And then he was writing American Summer. He asked me to come to the casting. They were trying out. They were casting for the lead role, and then they chose me. That's how I.
Was the movie well received? Was people liking it?
American Summer.
Yeah. Did it get a lot of?
It got mixed reviews. You got half and half. Half people liked it. Half people thought
Do you know
it
the
was shit.
statistic? How many people watched it?
Yeah, really. I can find it somewhere, but it was like.
Was it high or?
No, like 40,000 people went to cinema to watch it.
And it's not considered a success in Estonia. I think that's.
I don't even know if it was 30,000. Maybe it wasn't even that, but it was
Because
a
it
lower
feels
number.
like a lot of people.
No, because a lot of people. There's the most popular movies in Estonia. Like hundreds of thousands watch them.
100,000
Like
people.
100,000 people. Yeah, watch a popular movie in Estonia.
Going to the cinema, 1/10 of the population.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
That would be considered a successful movie.
Yeah, like really successful. Yeah.
And that didn't bring you any stuff. No career
No.
opportunities coming after that.
Nope, not really. There was
What
one.
about the coworkers? Like, were they like?
There's theater actors. That's funny that you asked that because the other actors are theater actors. They have work automatically because they're theater actors. And the only guy except me who wasn't a theater actor, Jarmo, he's washed up. He's as washed up as me. He's like he doesn't have work now. He's just like struggling and stuff. Because that's how it works in Estonia. If you're not in theater, you're not an actor. You don't get work. If you either have to know somebody, have to know people who put you in, who cast you, or you have to be in theater.
Do you feel like people hate you?
I love your questions. I love your direct questions.
You're doing something different, and I feel like whenever
Yeah,
you're
there's
doing something
definitely
different,
a little bit of that in Estonia. Yeah. I don't think I don't think people hate me, but I think a lot of people in Estonia think I'm crazy.
No, I don't think it's hate. Maybe it's a too strong word.
It's fear.
I think it's more like maybe I should exclude this person from my production just for the sake of the safety of the project.
Yeah,
So I don't jeopardize
definitely, because they think I'm crazy. Because they don't people who haven't worked with me, they don't know how I am on set. They think that I'm on set the same way that I'm in that video where I was, speaking Estonian to strangers in LA.
Yeah.
They think they look at these performances in these videos and they think that's me. That's what I'm going to be on set. And it's not. That's what happens to a lot of comedians all over the world. Like I was listening to a podcast and this guy Bobby Lee. Really you like Bobby Lee?
Yeah,
I love Bobby Lee. So he was talking. Yeah, Tiger Belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you listen to that. So he was talking about how a lot of people in the industry are afraid of him or hate him because they think he's crazy. Because he's crazy on stage a lot of times. So they think like if they're gonna hire him, on a movie, he's gonna be like on set.
Yeah.
But everybody who knows him knows that he's like the most professional actor on set. He's really humble and professional. And I feel like it's the same thing with me. Like people in Estonia think I'm crazy. Even the casting director that I went to here when I was looking for an agent, and doing networking and going to meetings with casting directors. There was this one casting director who looked at my show reel. I have 2 show reels. One of them is like an industry standard, like a really calm one, and the other one is it's called "Would Someone Give Me a Fucking Job?"
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's like got all this insane shit in it. And he said, "You got to take that down." Casting director, he said, "You got to take that down because people are going to think you're insane. Like people are going to be afraid to hire you because they don't know what you're about."
How do you feel about that?
Offended, and it's stupid. People are fucking idiots if they think that a person who's performing, playing crazy characters, that he's gonna somehow, like that's gonna, like, I don't even know what the process of that thought is. I don't know how they think that someone who was playing a character that's crazy, that he's actually gonna be crazy, on a job.
Do you diss them back, those people in Estonia who are afraid of you being crazy on the set? Do you dissing them?
Dissing them?
Yeah.
No, never. So I don't even, usually, you don't know who those people are.
Like,
they talk behind your back.
Yeah. Like, have you tried to, like, maybe reach out to some producers and directors and then see if you can get some job in Estonia?
Sure, I have, yeah. Yeah, most of them, they ignore me. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, there's not much work anyways in Estonia. Like, everybody who's working there, who's playing in these TV shows and stuff, it's like I said, they know somebody, they've got casted. And it's not like, I got it, actually, when I was in Morocco, I was playing this role in this indie movie, this horror movie, little horror movie, that should come out this year. And I got an email from this producer or casting director, I can't remember, but there was maybe an assistant, somebody who was like, "Oh, we're doing this TV show in Estonia, and we want to cast you for the lead role." And that was the only thing that I got after American Summer. That's the only, offer I got after American Summer. No, because I was in Morocco that time for a month and a half. So I was like, I can't do it because they needed me the same week, to come in. And I was like, I can't do it. I'm in Morocco. So that was the only one. That was the only offer, but I don't know. I don't know what happened to that project or I don't know anything about it.
If things change up and, you become, let's say, super successful.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah. Super successful.
Have you watched Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
If you become a Super Saiyan.
And everybody started to love you and, get tons of jobs, tons of roles. Would you be happy?
I would be happy. I'm happy when I'm on set. When I'm on a film set, I'm happy. That's all I need. I was in a that's how I met this guy here in London, Fraser, my new actor friend. We were shooting this commercial, and he was like, we were playing burglars, and I met him on set, and we're good friends now. And when I was on that set, it was just an hour or two, and I felt like the happiest person ever, like the happiest person in the world. Like if I'm on a set, no matter what it is, if it's a student film or it doesn't matter.
So you don't really mind the audience?
No, not at all. I just have to be on set. I just have to play characters or make direct a movie. Just
I think a lot
make
of people
magic.
I heard this story quite often is people who are in Estonia and they move abroad because they feel like they're limited, opportunities for them to be in the country. Let's say being an actor, a lot of them want to be seen by a bigger audience. They want to go out and then do films in English or in the US. I don't know.
I don't care anymore. I used to think about that, but I'm 30 soon. Now I just want to work, no matter what it is.
Would you say you're crazy?
A little bit. But I think it's good. It's better to be a little bit crazy than be so-called normal. Because you don't want to be like everybody else. You want to be yourself. And if yourself is a little bit crazy, it's great.
But do you feel like you got? I know this question sounds really straightforward. I'm sorry. Do you feel like you'll get washed out very soon? I mean, like
I think I'm already
like,
kind of washed out.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure. This is how I see it. You know, it's people pushing you to do certain thing in a certain way, and you either kind of find a compromise somewhere, or you gotta struggle.
I think it's not.
Are you compromising more nowadays, or are you still trying to do your thing your way? And still kind of just holding on to that.
That's why I feel like I want to go in the countryside and just write my movie. It's because that's what's most important to me right now. Is my own story, my own vision. Because I feel like I started to feel like, yeah, like I said, compromise. Everybody's trying to like look for opportunities to work for somebody else, and they think like somebody else is gonna, make them turn them into something, or that they're gonna make it through somebody else. But I'm starting to see that it's not how it's not right. Like, because it's, even if that happens, you're not gonna be happy because you didn't do anything. You didn't make it yourself. You made somebody else made you. So I'm thinking, I feel like I just want to focus on my script right now and just fuck everything else, because that's something that I've been trying to do and think about for years now. Like, I need to do it to prove to feel that feeling of accomplishment. Feel like I made something. Here's this 100-page story, this great story. I did it. Now I'm gonna start trying to make, actually producing it, and take it step by step. But I feel like trying to. Like, if I'm gonna be here in London and try to get these like Eastern European, like plain Polish guys in soap operas, like.
But you say you will be happy as long as you.
Yeah, I could write a movie while doing that. Yeah, but then they better fucking, somebody better fucking cast me right now, because I'm about to leave. Because it's like, if I don't get on that grind, I would love to play in soap operas, but if I don't get on that grind right now, I'm gonna like fuck everything else and just go and write my movie.
What's your plan? Do you have many options at this moment?
Yeah, there's always options. There's always many options. I always come up with something at the last moment,
I remember like watching one of the videos that you went to the bank and asked for the loan, and you recorded that thing.
Hollywood vlogs.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was one of the. It's an interesting feeling to watch that. It makes you want to laugh, but
it's kind of sad at
yeah,
the same time.
also at the same
But
time,
that's
really
the humor about it. That's
Yeah.
the humor. It's just, but that's what people in Estonia don't understand too, because no one makes videos like that in Estonia.
I get why it's so
always,
entertaining.
It's always humor. It was never serious for me. I wasn't. You do shit like that because it's funny and it grabs people's attention, but it doesn't mean that you're actually that person.
I mean,
That's why people think I'm crazy. It's like, this guy just goes into a random bank and asks for money to go to Hollywood. He's crazy, but it's a character. It's not me. It's a show. So that's what Estonians don't understand, because they don't have TV shows like that. And when they see people who don't have a TV show just doing that on YouTube, they think it's crazy. This guy is insane, because he's not a professional TV guy,
just like based on our almost like hour-long conversation so far, I'm just gotta share with you what I feel about you as a person.
What?
Yeah.
Quick, I gotta take a piss.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of enjoy living a shitty life and having the struggle.
That's what my mom says.
Yeah, I feel like that's.
Why do you feel like that? Why do you think?
I feel like to
that.
you it's more important as an artist. It feels like you want to be that person who struggle,
Wow.
therefore have all those
Why do you feel like that?
materials.
Why does
have
my
all
mom
the
feel
things
like that? Why do you
to do
feel
your
like that?
thing, and I feel like you're
It's totally not true.
sadistic kind of a
It's
character.
completely not true. Why do you feel like that?
It's just like what I get, the kind of vibe that I got. I hate the word vibe, but
Wow.
it feels that way. It feels like you enjoy the process a little bit too much. People say enjoy the process,
Wow.
but you kind of went to the extreme and you're
That's
just
deep,
like,
man.
I just want the process itself. I don't want to see the final product. I feel like you would be like kind of really depressed if you actually become, say, commercially successful.
Really?
No, it's
Why
just like,
do you think like that? That's so weird. That's so interesting because you're not the first person who thinks like that, and it's completely untrue.
how would you say? What kind of
I
person?
just need to work. I'm depressed if I don't work because I know myself. I know that every time I'm on set, I'm happy. That's all I need.
Because I feel like a lot of the stories, a lot of the characters that you portrayed in your, this and that, all those films and clips, it's all like, it all have life stories based, right?
Mhm.
There is.
It's all about people struggling.
Yeah, there's a lot of struggle
But that's
and
what
there's
every.
a lot of
But
contradiction.
that's what every character is about.
Yeah, but
Every character is about
yours
struggle.
have an undertone of like all this struggling, all this like really realistic kind of a struggle. Not like some people they struggle over like the tiniest shit, like my shoes are so dirty. But you have some existential kind of a
Right.
struggle that other people.
But
other
isn't
characters might not
isn't
have.
that what the best story is all about?
Yeah, that's why
It's about struggle.
I'm just getting like maybe you want more resources, you want more of this experience of struggle. Just how it can enrich you as an artist.
Dude, does it look like I want more struggle? Look at this. My hair fell out. I'm turning 30. There's bags under my eyes. Does it really look like I want more struggle?
So you would say you wouldn't want more struggle?
No, definitely not. I just want to work. And that makes me happy. I just want to work every day. I want to be on set. That's all I need. I want to be on set and focus on my writing and not have to worry about paying my rent. Just work and not have to worry every month to pay, whether or not I can pay my rent. Because that's been my life for the past 10 years, is worry about how to pay my rent. So, I'm getting cold. It's getting chilly. Yeah, gotta go pee. That's all I want. To work, to be able to work, and to focus on my own vision, on my own screenplays. Yeah, that's all I need. Just to have money to pay my rent and eat and work, be on set. That isn't too much, right?
No.
That isn't asking too much.
No. Yeah, I feel
There's way more less.
it's just hard to persuade me. No, it's not persuading me, but it's just hard to believe that's what you want.
I wonder why that is.
Whenever you say that, it just like
I wonder. It's really interesting because you're not the first person who says that, and I wonder where that comes from because that's totally not me. I think it's what it is. When people see depressed people, or when people see people with anxiety and stuff, and if it's been happening to them for a long time, if it's become part of them, if it's been with them, if somebody's depressed for 10 years, everybody around them will start thinking that it's their fault, that they want to be depressed.
Yeah.
I think it comes from that kind of psychology.
I feel like I don't see you as a depressed person.
Because I'm a good actor.
Yeah, I don't see you. Yeah, I don't
I
see
play
you.
it like everything's fine, but when I go home and close my door, I scream into my pillow and
Do you do that?
I drink a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see you as a sad person. I don't see you as struggling, but it just feels like
So wait, you don't see me as a struggling, but you see me as someone who wants to struggle?
yeah.
What the fuck you getting at, man? I don't.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
to be
I don't.
honest, it's just like I don't feel like you're struggling that much, but you're looking for something more. You're on your way to get more struggle. There's an eagerness,
Look for what?
looking for some life experience. It just feels like
Sure.
you want something new. You want something that is a little
Yeah,
more challenging.
but being on sets and actually having work would be something new.
Yeah,
Because all my life it's been like being miserable because I don't get work. So getting work, working every day would be something new. That's all I want. So in a certain way, you're right. Yeah, but I don't think that if I would get work, yeah, of course, if I would get roles right now playing in a soap opera, and I would have to do that for a year, of course I would get tired and I would want to move on. But that's just normal. That's what being a human being is. But right now, in this phase of my life, of course, I want new things, and that new thing is to get work. Because I feel like everybody else around me, even like my sister, she's working every day on movies. So I see people who are working every day and being busy, while I'm just sitting drinking whiskey in my room, being depressed and trying to get work, trying to get noticed. I just need a chance, So that's kind of been my whole life. It's just struggling, and I feel like that new thing, that new step in my life would be to actually get work and kind of settle down and be like, I have a job. I have work every day. I don't have to, because I need that routine in my life. It's been too long. Like I've lived for too long. I lived this life where there's no routine. It's chaos. And now that I'm turning 30 soon, I feel like I need this routine of working every day, having this routine life of doing what I'm good at, what I'm passionate about, and getting paid for it. That's all I need. That's all I want right now. And that's just 100% truth.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm about to piss down your throat. I gotta piss so bad.
Yep. Go pee.
Okay. Thank you for it. This was really cool, man. It was really chill. This was really nice time. Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast?
I'm a really shitty interviewer because I got drawn into my own thoughts. Like when I talk with you, like I start to think about my own stuff, and then I just want to focus on whatever I'm interested in.
And you're studying anthropology, man. What the fuck?
Like I wanna.
You're an anthropologist and you're a shitty interviewer? That doesn't sound good.
I should have worked on that a little bit more before I come in.
No, it was good. I think it was really good. I think we covered pretty much everything.
Go pee.
Thank you.